some of my initial thoughts going into my second interaction with my GLP partner, I was honestly my main uh, reaction or like thought going in is I was extremely nervous because I was taking him to an arcade because I didn't know if he was gonna know what an arcade was, or if there were arcades in China, or if he would have fun, or and then also I made him try a coney dog from Leo's Coney Island, and so I was really nervous that he was gonna if he was gonna like that or not, or if that was just a big waste of his money. And then afterthoughts. I was super happy because he did get something out of this experience because he did know what an arcade was, but he didn't know how to play any of the arcade games that were at Pinball Pete, so that was really cool. I was really happy that he was actually able to get something out of this experience as well as I did. And then also I felt accomplished because I got to show him like two pieces of American culture because as a little kid, you always go to an arcade to play games. I feel like, I mean, that's how I was when I grew up. I would always go to an arcade when I was little and just to have fun. And then also, the Coney Islands are just a big Michigan thing. And for me personally, my hometown, we have four Coney Islands in a 1.5 mile span. So it's a big thing for me that, like, my personal culture are Coney Island. So to share that with him, he enjoyed his Coney dog, luckily. So that was good. And so I was happy that he got something out of this experience. So my concerns were also basically kind of the same thing as my initial thoughts. I was just really nervous, and I was concerned that he wasn't going to like his coney dog, and I was concerned that he wouldn't gain something out of this experience. So some of my adjustments that like I had in my behaviors or thoughts throughout the event was at first I kind of forgot that he wasn't going to know how to play these games because when he said he knew what an arcade was, I was like, oh, he's going to know how to play all these games. But then I realized, then he kept on asking me how to play these ones, and I was like, oh, you don't know how. So then I went in like full on teacher mode. So then I would teach him how to play the games, and then he would ask me to go first so then he could watch me. And I was like, okay, for sure. And so then I would go, and then throughout the night, he kind of he got excited, and so then he would go first and just try it out after I would explain it to him. And so that was exciting because then I realized that he was actually having a lot of fun, and that he wanted like so much fun that he would want to go first, and I was very excited. And so that made me kind of relax throughout the night. So relaxing was kind of another adjustment that I made. And so I was really happy and I could relax and then just have fun and enjoy the experience. And some insights that I gained throughout the entire event. So one, there are arcades in China. But at first he asked me what an arcade was, so then I explained it to him, like there are a bunch of games and then you put in coins and you play them, and then depending on how well you do, you get a bunch of tickets, and then at the end of the night, you add up all your tickets to get prizes. And he was like, oh, I know what an arcade is. So, I mean, there are arcades in China, but he said that they're only in, like, big cities, but he's gone to some before, so that's a new thing that I learned. And then when he was eating his coney dog, he said that he really liked it, so that's good. And he also said he felt like it was the American thing to do. And I was like, oh, like, what do you mean by that? And he was like, it just goes along with, like, apple pie, hamburgers, like, Statue of Liberty. And I was like, oh, so, like, the things that you think of when you think of America. And he said, yeah, for sure. And, so that was interesting. And it was cool for him because then he got to finally, like, get an American experience. Kind of like not a stereotype, but a little bit. And then also when he was eating that, he was like, oh, are you going to get a coney dog too? And I said no, because I don't eat red meat. And so then we started talking about vegetarians and stuff. I'm not a vegetarian, but he was really interested in the topic. And so then we were talking about it. And he told me that there's really no vegetarian concept in China. And I was really shocked because that's a huge thing here in America. But I never really thought to, like, count in or think of as vegetarian and vegans or veganisms like as a big part of American culture, but it totally is. I mean, a lot of people are vegetarians or vegans now. So that was cool. It was like a new thing that I learned about our culture. And then lastly, something that stuck out to me was Simon talked about how he had lived in a huge city and growing up, and it was really developed and industrial, and he feels like that they're kind of losing the Chinese culture. And he was kind of jealous for me that there are things like hot dogs, hamburgers, and like apple pie and things that people think of when they think of America, and that we can experience those, because he feels like things that people think about China, he doesn't experience or hasn't experienced. And I think it's really important. That just like struck me really hard and it made me sad, because I think culture is a huge thing for everyone to realize and experience throughout their daily lives.